Want to master Adobe Photoshop but don't know where to start? Well, you've come to the right place. Adobe Photoshop is more than just a software. It's a creative playground where your imagination can run wild. It's a platform that can transform your raw photos into masterpieces, your sketches into professional designs, and your ideas into visual realities. Photoshop's magic lies in its wide range of applications. Whether you're a photographer looking to enhance your shots, a digital artist aiming to create stunning visuals, or a marketer needing to craft compelling graphics, Photoshop can be your go-to tool. Its versatility has made it a staple in various fields, from design and photography to advertising and social media. Photoshop is a vast ocean, but don't worry, we're here to help you navigate. We'll equip you with the fundamental skills to start your journey and create amazing digital imagery. So, are you intrigued to uncover the magic of Adobe Photoshop? Let's begin. The first step to mastering Photoshop is understanding its workspace. Let's dive right into the heart of Adobe Photoshop. The workspace. This is your control center, the cockpit from which you'll pilot your creative pursuits. It consists of the menu bar at the top, the tools panel on the side, and a variety of panels like layers, channels, and paths, to name a few. Imagine the menu bar as your command center, housing options for everything from file handling to filtering effects. The tools panel, on the other hand, is your artist's toolbox filled with brushes, erasers, selection tools, and much more. And then we have the panels. Think of them as your navigation charts, helping you to manage layers, channels, and paths, each playing a pivotal role in your editing journey. Getting comfortable with this workspace is crucial. It's like learning the controls of a new video game or a musical instrument. With your workspace ready, you're on your way to becoming a Photoshop pro. Layers are the backbone of Photoshop and the key to non-destructive editing. This is a principle that we'll explore in depth today. Imagine a stack of transparent sheets. Each sheet represents a layer in Photoshop. You can draw, paint, or place an image on each of these sheets without affecting the others. This is the fundamental concept of layers in Photoshop. Creating a new layer is as simple as clicking the New Layer button at the bottom of the Layers panel. You'll see your new layer appear above the selected layer. To delete a layer, simply select it and hit the Delete key, or drag it to the trash can icon in the Layers panel. Sometimes you'll need to hide layers for a clearer view of your work. This is where the eye icon next to each layer comes in handy. Click it, and voila, your layer is hidden. Click it again, and your layer reappears. Rearranging layers is just as effortless. Click and drag a layer to move it up or down in the stack. Remember, layers at the top of the stack appear in front of layers below them, much like how a sheet on top of a stack of papers covers the ones beneath it. But layers aren't just about painting or placing images. They also offer a powerful tool called layer masks. A layer mask lets you control where adjustments and effects are applied on a layer without permanently altering the layer itself. Think of it as an invisible shield that can hide or reveal parts of a layer. In a layer mask, white reveals and black conceals. Painting with white on a layer mask reveals the layer's contents, while painting with black hides them. This flexibility allows you to make changes at any time, preserving your original image. So there you have it. The magic of layers. They're your canvas, your paint, and your eraser, all rolled into one. By understanding and mastering layers in Photoshop, you're unlocking a world of creative possibilities. As we wrap up this segment, remember this: mastering layers is mastering Photoshop. Now let's move on to explore some essential tools in the next scene. Now that you're comfortable with layers, let's explore some essential tools. Let's start with the Move tool, your go-to for shifting elements across your canvas. It's as simple as clicking and dragging. Whether it's a stray pixel or an entire layer, the Move tool makes repositioning a breeze. Next, we have the Marquee tools. They allow you to create selections in various shapes. The rectangular and elliptical marquee tools are perfect for selecting geometric areas, while the single row and single column marquee tools let you select a single row or column of pixels. The lasso tools are your selection wizards. With the regular lasso tool, you can freely draw your selection, almost like you're sketching. The polygonal lasso tool lets you create selections with straight edges, and the magnetic lasso tool automatically clings to the edges of contrasting objects, making precise selections less of a hassle. Then there's the Quick Selection tool, a real time saver. It lets you paint a selection, automatically detecting and selecting similar areas. It's like the lasso tool, And the brush tool had a super efficient baby. Speaking of the brush tool, it's one of the most versatile tools in Photoshop. It paints pixels onto your canvas, and its size, hardness, and even shape can be adjusted. It's just like painting on a real canvas, but with an undo button. The crop tool is all about composition. It lets you trim, reshape, and reframe your work to create the perfect layout. Remember, cropping is not just about cutting things out, it's also about directing the viewer's focus. Now, let's talk about the clone stamp tool. It's a bit of a magic trick. This tool lets you copy a portion of your image and stamp it onto another area. It's like having a photocopier right inside your computer. Finally, we have the eraser tool. It's just like a real eraser, removing pixels as you go. But be careful with this one. Once you erase something, it's gone. Unless, of course, you use that handy undo button. These tools are your brushes and canvases in the world of digital art. Armed with the essential tools, you're ready to delve into basic editing techniques. Let's start with cropping and resizing an image. Cropping allows you to remove unwanted areas from an image, focusing on the subject you want. Resizing, on the other hand, helps you alter the size of the image to fit specific dimensions. Both of these techniques are fundamental for any editing task. Next, let's talk about adjusting brightness, contrast, and color balance. Brightness impacts the overall lightness or darkness of the image. Contrast controls the difference between the lightest and darkest areas. Color balance is used to adjust the intensity of the colors, allowing you to make an image warmer or cooler. All these adjustments can dramatically change the mood and feel of your image. Now, onto the world of filters. Filters are preset effects that can be applied to your image with a single click. They can do anything from sharpening your image to adding artistic effects like a vintage look or a pencil sketch effect. The possibilities are virtually endless with filters, and they can add unique touches to your images in seconds. Let's consider some examples. Say you have a photograph that's a bit too dark. By adjusting the brightness and contrast, you can make the subject more visible. Or perhaps you have an image that you want to give a retro feel. Simply apply a vintage filter and voila, you've stepped back in time. Or maybe you've taken a group photo, but you only want to highlight one person. Here's where cropping comes in. Select the person you want to focus on. Crop the rest out, and there you have it, a personalized portrait. These examples are just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more you can do with these basic editing techniques. Play around with them, experiment, and see what works best for your images. These techniques form the foundation of your Photoshop skills. And remember, every great artist started with the basics. So, keep practicing, and soon, you'll be creating your own masterpieces in Photoshop. Congratulations on taking your first steps into the world of Adobe Photoshop. We've covered a lot of ground together, exploring the workspace, diving deep into layers, and getting a grip on essential tools, and brushing up on some basic editing techniques. Each of these elements plays a vital role in creating stunning digital imagery. But remember, mastering Photoshop isn't about rushing through the process. It's about understanding each component and how they interact, building a strong foundation for your future projects. Don't be afraid to experiment with different tools and techniques. They are your paintbrushes in this digital canvas, and you are the artist. Discover your unique style and let it shine through your work. Practice is key. Spend time tinkering with the tools, playing with layers, and trying new editing techniques. The more you do, the more you'll grow. Remember, every Photoshop expert was once a beginner.